Good morning and welcome to Sunday Soul Talks. last week, last Saturday, Peter got me to see some things that I wasn't seeing. Well, he was saying that what I say is coming from ego and I think I'm better than others. So that was Saturday. And then by Sunday, that had worked in. And I basically took Sunday all day, sit on the lanai by myself, quietly, no distractions, going within, just sitting, feeling it all. And he also got me to see that what I say on here, or what I say to people, everybody that calls, and I help them, I'm really talking to myself. Each person I help is me. So it kind of feels foolish to keep doing this when I'm only talking to myself. I don't have all the answers. I just know yesterday we went up to Venice, to Minnesota Key, and it's funny because a couple of weeks ago I said to Peter, the steering feels funny on this thing. I had to go get Georgia at the. Oh no, I had to go to Sarasota with it, bring Georgia up to go get a car, and I just was wrestling with it. It was so tight, and I said something to him. He was like, I don't notice that because he's the one that drives it every day. Well, we pulled into the parking lot at the beach, and the steering stopped working. Thank God we were just in a parking lot. So I happened to be talking with someone on Facebook about a post. Well, I was saying how I was feeling last week or last weekend or whatever. And as the week went, I made connections with kids. I was at a high school and it was amazing the conversations I had with these kids at a high school, connecting on a level that they probably haven't talked before. So they're me. See, I'm still in a fog about this. Anyway, so Bruce Adams is one of my teachers, and he posted a post as a result of me talking to this other woman on there. And he said, read it. So I read it right after. We're sitting in the car and we have no idea what to do. But there's a flood of thoughts come in of the what if, of the future, of how we've got to. And I was reading it out loud to Peter, basically putting our intention to stay in peace within throughout this ordeal, is what the mind would call it, an ordeal, a situation. And he says, look for synchronicities throughout. Gosh, I should get that. It just was amazing to follow that. Says we don't make reality, we co create by staying in harmony with the field. So when something like that happens, you're not in harmony when a flood of thoughts come in and you're so anxious about, about lack of money, about what's going to happen, not being in control, because your mind starts to want to control the situation and thinks it's planning it out. It's automatically starting to plan out how it wants it to go. He says we are forever afforded free will, and forever we are co-creating along with spirit. This practice is a reminder how simple and natural that can be. Moving from vision to co-creation. So each soul is an individual spark within the field of source. Inseparable source. Like I talk about the ocean, we are the wave. We're not separate from source energy. People call it God or love or life or universe or whatever, because the mind wants to put a label on it. But it's not going to ever know what it is, label or no label. This means your visions and desires are not wrong. They are the way the field, the ocean, expresses its next possibilities through you, through these bodies and minds. How else can it experience anything? Because it is everything. Where the waters get muddied is when the ego tries to fix the outcome in rigid images, deciding in advance exactly how, when, and through whom the vision must appear. This narrows the frequency, like trying to pull an ocean through a straw. And in that exact moment, we were in a parking lot in a situation where this exact message was what? I, it was overwhelming to me, the synchronicity in this as I'm reading it to Peter. It says true co creation in the fifth dimensional way is less about specifying the form, the way it has to go, and more about inhabiting the frequency, staying in the frequency, not the control, not the tight, narrow, the wide expanse. It looks like this. Clarify essence, not details. Name the feeling, quality, or state you're inviting. Peace, freedom, contribution, beauty. So we locked on deciding through it. Hold that as your compass rather than the exact scenario of being stuck in a parking lot, not knowing what to do with a dead battery. The car wouldn't start anymore. So we decided to hold the frequency of peace within throughout. That was our intention, to hold the frequency of peace inside. Release the how. Set a clear intention, but hand the mechanics. Here we are with the actual car, which is needs a mechanic. The mechanics to source. Leave the mechanics, the intricacies, how it needs to go to source. This keeps your channel clear for unexpected synchronicities. So, let's talk about synchronicities, which I'm beginning to think comes from gratitude. Because gratitude for this post, gratitude for Peter being open to what I was even reading, because normally it's shut off for him. And he's me, so where the hell am I shutting it off? Anyway, yeah. So gratitude for it being where we were at Minnesota Key. It was actually no. We had gone up to, was it Venice? We went to Venice first, but it was so clouded in, it started raining. So we just headed down because we noticed that it was blue sky towards home. So we started, that's when we ended up at Minnesota Key because it was clearer. So when we pulled in is when this all happened. So I was grateful that it was completely cloudy, so it wasn't so hot, because the car wouldn't even start by that point. It was not, the battery completely died. Well, died enough so it wouldn't start. So we ended up getting a really great guy. We knew nothing about towing in that area. Turns out this guy, can't think of his name right now, really great guy from Poland, had such an amazing connection with him. Well, he was in Fort Myers. He said it was going to be 2 hours. So we decided to go sit on the beach. And it wasn't too hot. So it was perfect. We didn't even take our umbrella or anything. We didn't. Peter ate in the car before we left. We couldn't have sat in the car if the sun was out full, because it wouldn't start. There's no AC. It's like a oven. But we couldn't have the windows open either because it was threatening rain. So we end up getting this guy. He's coming. When he gets there, Peter was able, because the cars were all over. There was a barricade in front of it, and then behind it there was a car. The parking lot was full. So Peter was able to start the car. Not only that, he was able to steer it in between the cars, but able to pull it out so he could put it up on his flatbed. Another beautiful what? Just enough to get it onto that. So I dawns on me earlier when we were in the car that maybe, because Peter was convinced it was the battery, because as the battery goes, because in the old days, yeah, you just put some fluid in it and it's okay for steering. But now it's electronic, and he says as the battery loses power, little electronic things start going. So he stops on the way to a advanced auto or whatever, which happened to be where we had been to get the battery. It was in their computer a few years ago. So we got the battery for nothing, a brand new battery. Brought the core back in. It didn't do it. So, well, plus Peter locked the keys in the car so he could. But the record guy helped us. He wouldn't take any more money either. It only cost $120 for this whole thing. He brought us to the Ford garage, and there was no This was after 2 o'clock, so there was no rental cars. They had no loaners, of course. There was no rental car places open. So we ended up going Uber. Turns out we get this woman named Heidi who she was immediately started complaining about her life. She says I'm not complaining, but she was complaining. She thinks because Uber it would only cost $73 to go all the way, which was over an hour and 20 minutes, I think, from where we were. She's getting $30. So I started doing what I do, talking to her about the deeper meaning and how when you chop it up and the credit and blame and it just was a beautiful conversation the whole way. And then when we got home, she was so grateful. She thanked me over and over for I told her about she's not on Facebook, but I told her I gave her she wanted my name, so we put her on YouTube. So hi Heidi, if you see this. We had the best conversation about life, about money, about do you really know? That last week's video was, or not last week because I canceled it last week, but the week before was about putting your stake in the ground. I know what's going on. Anyway, so so we set the clear intention to stay in peace throughout it all. Act from inspiration, not anxiety, because the anxiety comes from the thoughts of the future of doom, and that's not what happened. Each seeming roadblock, like being, no loaner car, and then no cars being, and we end up no enterprise. None of that was. They were all closed. So we end up Uber, and we end up having this amazing connection, or I did, with Heidi. Yeah, I was telling her there are no mistakes. Every single thing. I said, do you know how fine the sand is at Sarasota Beach? Sarasota Key? Siesta Key? She says, yeah. I said, that's how fine. I'm not a Siesta Key beach grain of sand is out of place. She was, yeah, she was spiritual. She was trying to ask me what label me Christian, Buddha, whatever. I said, there's no label here. She said, spiritual. She was spiritual. And I'm like, oh, well, if you want to call it that, I guess that's what I am, spiritual. But I'm not. I'm not anything. It's just whatever's happened along the way. Anyway. When an action feels aligned, take it. Which was the Uber. Take it. This is how you partner with the field rather than push against it. And that was my conversation with Heidi the whole time. She was pushing against life, fighting, talking about with her husband, then with the Uber situations in life, fighting with it instead of having the intention of staying in peace within. By doing this, you remain a co-creative participant in the great shift without the ego's interference. You're not abandoning your dreams. You're allowing them to arrive through the most graceful, multi-dimensional path. Effortless. When you're fighting, it's not effortless. Then he wrote The Mechanics of Creation. Creation unfolds through resonance, through the vibrational language of thought, feeling, and frequency. When these are aligned, the field responds with clarity. Now, when I first woke up, when I was 34, just about 35, the clarity of mind, I cannot tell you the difference when your mind is clear and not muddied up with all of that what if bullshit of the future that doesn't exist. It just clouds everything and causes the body so much anxiety that doesn't have to be. Thought is the signal. Every idea you hold is like a tuning fork, sending out a vibration. So when you're centered on peace and love, that's a tuning fork for peace and love out in the stratosphere, whatever this is. Feeling is the amplifier. So if you're stuck in the Maya, the muddiness of your mind, the feeling is anxiety, uptight, which is the frequency you're carrying, which is very low. Peaceful feeling is high. Gratitude comes. The gratitude thoughts were just coming like crazy, which I see is what synchronicity I'm just now seeing within the past 12 hours, that gratitude is the cause of synchronicity, or maybe not the cause, but it is the identifier of synchronicity, being grateful. When thought is infused with emotion, joy, gratitude, trust, the signal grows stronger. Fear or control can also amplify, but they distort the frequency. So any situation you're in, if you're going in with fear and needing to control it, it's got to be, I could see the thoughts of Peter and I both going into thoughts, and I said, right back to peace and love. Resonance is the key. The field responds not to words alone, but to the harmony of your inner state. And we kept the peace throughout it. We did. We kept it. God, it was amazing, to be honest. It was amazing. Picture it this way. You drop a stone of intention, peace, and love into the still pond of source. The ripples spread outward, touching everything. The universe responds not by giving you the exact stone you imagine, but by sending back reflections that match the vibration that you've set in motion. So if you're setting the vibration in motion of peace and love and trust, you're going to get back that. But if you're sending out the vibration of fear and anxiety and not trust, that's what you're going to get back. More of that. In the third dimension, which is what this is, creation was effort driven and pushing, planning, controlling outcomes. In the fifth dimension, creation is frequency driven, aligning, allowing, and following synchronicities as they arise. Living the mechanics, a daily practice. Morning alignment. Set the signal. Ask yourself, what frequency do I choose to hold today? Name the essence: peace, love, clarity, freedom. This is what I intend today as we go try to get our car. He looked up on YouTube and saw that it needs to be reset. Now that the new battery is in, just needs to be reset. So we're going to drive up there and try to reset it. What's the worst that can happen? It stays there and they have to work on it tomorrow. But if not, we drive home with it fixed on our own. Which, that's the frequency I'm setting, that intention. If not, I trust that it's meant to be no matter what happens. It's not the end of the world. Midday attunement. That was morning alignment. Midday attunement. Amplify with feeling. Call that essence into your heart. Feel it as a living reality now. Feel it as peace and love right now. Noticing the ego, clearing distortions. When you catch yourself grasping for outcomes, pause. Gently return to essence. Gently return. Each time it's getting caught up in anxiety and fear of the future. Evening reflection. Whoops. Shoot. Receiving the echo, notice synchronicities and signs from the field. Receive them with gratitude. Wow, I didn't even realize it said that. Receive them with gratitude. Notice them. Notice them. In closing, he puts, co-creation isn't about following someone else's beliefs. It's about reclaiming your own independence right here. Your free will is a spark of source. In that freedom, you discover the beauty only you can bring into creation. What frequency are you choosing to hold today as you step into your own creative power? That is, I'm gonna copy this and post it underneath this because it's so powerful and it's exactly what unfolded yesterday. Just the fact that I was reading that as this was happening. Talk about synchronicities. What? So if I'm co-creating this, I co-created Lori, the mind made Lori, body mind made Lori is co-creating with the ocean. The little wave is co-creating with the ocean instead of going out on its own trying to create. Feel that. Trying to make things happen. It's about letting go. That's what I was telling Heidi yesterday. It's about letting go. The universe, life, whatever, knows what you want. You have to let go of the how and let it happen. And I'm talking to myself right now. I don't know if anybody is here that says that there is, but nobody's commented. Anyway, this is it for today. Half an hour. We're going to get our car and see what happens. With love and gratitude for anybody who watches this. Have a wonderful week. I don't know if I'm continuing to do this. I don't know. If I show up next Sunday, I do. If not, that's okay too. Hi, Sherry. Thank you for loving it. Me too. Oh my God. I'm going to post this. I'm going to copy it and put it underneath because it's amazing. I actually have it. I posted it to my page. All right. I love you very much. Have a wonderful day, especially on that ride share. It's been a while. Have an intention of peace and love. Watch for synchronicities throughout it.